Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Patricia Capella, Conference Manager for Clarion UX Food and Beverage Trade Shows, which produces several industry events and conferences. During these uncertain times, we are doing everything we can to help keep our industry updated with education and staying connected during this rapidly changing environment. Joining us today, I'd like to introduce Nancy Trent, founder and president of Trent & Company, who will be discussing wellness trends during COVID-19 in just a few moments. A few housekeeping notes before the presentation begins. All audience members are on listen-only mode, which means you are muted. We will be monitoring audience engagement on the dashboard and do encourage you to participate by using the question pane. There will be time for questions and answers at the end of the session. This webinar, as well as others in our series, will be made available on our website in the coming week. Now, without further delay, let me turn the program over to Nancy. Nancy?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here, and I want to say that we've been talking about it before the presentation, and we were all thinking about it the night before, how grateful we are to your industry, and how important it is for restaurant owners to adapt to these crazy times, and to the many people that work in the various areas. So we're really grateful to be here, and I hope that you get some valuable information from what we are going to be talking about today. So soy next. So we're going to be talking about the wellness consumer today, and I believe that everybody in today's world is somewhere on the wellness continuum, and there are some people who are fasting or eating raw foods, or foods, and or only on a fruit diet, and there are some people who what they're doing for wellness may not seem very wellness to you, but everybody today believes that they are on the wellness continuum. And I could tell you that today's consumer is going to be more interested in wellness before, because the ability to stave off problems and stay healthy is going to be more of a challenge. So people are really interested in eating healthfully, and they're really interested in the experience. Experience is really important, and what people are doing and what they want from the experience is important as well. Soy next. People need and are going to continue to want to amp up their immunity, and they're going to want to stay healthy, and they're going to be thinking, how can I do that? How can I do that? And what we eat, where it comes from is always going to be on top of the mind. So instead of, I think it's important to make it obvious what it is. And we've heard lots of statistics that when people add gluten-free on their menu, the number of guests they have increases. If people add paleo or vegan, people are going to want what they want, and their health and wellness is going to be more important than ever. So you have to let them know. Next, what you've got, so that there won't be any questions on their mind. So if you can tell them that you have gluten-free, if you could tell them which foods are high in vitamin C, which foods are high in zinc, because people are thinking about that. These are all possibilities that you may want to consider. So you may be wondering, where do wellness trends start? And it's really the first thing is to be very observant, because nobody knows your restaurant or what you could contribute to restaurants better than you. So it's really important for you, with your very trained eyes, to see what's going on that's a little bit different. And in publicity, we have something called the rule of threes. Actually, if you could furnish People magazine with photographs of 3 people authentically and organically eating a certain food that you want to coin as a trend, if you could send them photographs of all 3 and stories with celebrities, it will be a story. And we call that the rule of threes. And you may see that in a lot of different ways. You may have noticed a friend talking about it, or one of your kids' friends talking about it. You may have noticed an article in a trade publication. You may have seen a booth at a trade show. There's lots of different ways where you could find one of the 3. But it's important to keep your eyes open and know that once you've seen 3, there's no question about it. You have a trend. And once the media can cover it, it will be called a trend even more. Next slide. So it's important to know what is the difference between a trend and a fad. And we put these acronyms together for you to understand. And I want to say that many fads become trends, and it's very important for you to have your ear to what the fads are and also know what the trends are. I could tell you that when I was a little girl, I was really impressed that my dad told me that he did yoga when he was in college. Now, there's an example of something that has been trendy for generations. So what is a trend? Trends develop over a period of time. They have very, very deep roots. You notice how yoga, they're teaching it in schools, they're teaching it in churches, they're teaching it, in jails. And they're everywhere, right? Trends happen and all of a sudden everybody's talking about it. Our kids are doing it in distance learning classes for school, whether they're going to kindergarten or college. And trends just keep reinventing themselves and fitting into what it is that people want, which is what we're going to be talking about, how you guys can be doing today. And durability, trends are strong. Next. On the other hand, a fad is much faster. Like all of a sudden, I'm gonna take a big leap over here, and I was saying, I just like it that, I hadn't been eating a lot of cabbage. It's not that I didn't like cabbage, it's just I never really thought of making it. And now, cabbage lasts a long time. I feel like it's like kind of a portion, it's really a good portion. It's easy to make and it lasts. I mean, those are the things that we need in this time. And then I was thinking that, and I told a friend of mine that, and 2 days later out came an article called "Cabbage is the New Kale." We'll have to wait and see. So what are fads? They happen a lot faster than trends. All of a sudden, boom, they're everywhere. And I am going to take a guess that cabbage is going to be everywhere. They're all over the place because they have mainstream appeal, and then boom, they disappear. They're gone as quickly as they started. And what I was going to say is all kinds of health advice on everything, on all different kinds of foods, and it's really important to keep up on that. Next. So what you are doing is you are helping people heal faster by giving them food. Whether you're making complex cuisine or it's very simple, whether your foods are prepackaged or it's produce, depending on what you are. Hippocrates said your food will be your medicine and your medicine will be your food. And what he meant is food is really healthy and people are going to be interested in that. And it will heal us, which is the most important thing. But you know what else people want out of the food? They want luxury. They want experience. When they come to you, they're asking for a lot and they're demanding a lot. Next. So who are these people? Who is the wealthy shopper? And, it's important to get in your mind who your customer is. The wealthy shopper, in the morning, they're parents, and now, it's a little bit different. Lifestyle is a little bit different now, and we are, our kids are homeschooling. There may be more than one Zoom conference call going on. College kids are doing their distance learning where our schedules are off. We have to take care of ourselves in a lot of different ways, and people are thinking more about self-care. I think people are a little bit more mindful than they generally are, and they're thinking a lot. And we're constantly getting news. And I don't know about you, every single time I tune in or turn it on, we're getting nervous and scared. So there's a lot of different things that are going on. We have the sandwich generation going on. Many adults are taking care of their children, and they're also taking care of their parents. Many people, you know, they're still married. They, you know, people want to, they have partners, they have spouses. They do yoga a couple of times a week. They're a yogi. They're a foodie, but they're a vegan. You know, that, like, people have lots of different personalities right now. They're really interested in health, but you notice that with every single new health food establishment, there's something that's selling even worse for you kinds of junk. So, you know, there's something for everyone, but I think people's desire to be healthy is going to be really important. So if you give people different options, if they go into a place, there's healthy and there's any, you know, whatever else you would want. So people can make a choice and people can be individuals. Next. But understand that the wealthy shopper wants lots of different options. And, you know, the number one cause of unhealth or medical problems in this day and age is stress. In fact, they say 90% of all illness has its roots in stress. And I feel that there's lots of different ways that you guys can be helping people with stress. There's, they have a lot on their minds. Whatever could be easiest could be a great option. But then there are those people that they will de-stress if you give them a challenge or if you give them creative options. So we always have to understand that we've got to help people deal with their stress, and people deal with stress in a lot of different ways, and not the least of which is one of the most popular is, you know, some people deal with stress by wanting to be busy, and we all know of places that seem very, very chaotic that are actually quite successful. So realizing what atmosphere you've got and who you're projecting it to is really important to understand. Next. So what we're finding is health is what people are splurging on. Food, restaurants, that is the luxury. People, you know, right now, people aren't going to be able to travel quite as much. They're not going to be able to do many of the things that they used to do. Their big luxury now is splurging on the health of their body and their food. So this is something that we, you know, you have to consider, letting them know what ingredients are in things and explaining to them why they should be very proud of what ingredients they're taking in. Next. So this whole question of health, what is health to people? You know, like, are we thinking about our blood pressure? Are we thinking about our heart rate? You know, different people think of health as being different things. And there have been there's been a lot of research done. And what they find is that being rested is an indication of health to 76% of the people. How many people do you know that would say, I'm really well rested? Able to move easily actually comes under that, and that's 73%. Being at the right weight is an indication, you know, 70% of the people think that's healthy. Having glowing skin is 46% of an indication, and having shiny hair is 42%, and strong nails is 34%, actually more than having strong teeth. So how people define health really, really fluctuates. Next. But it's important to understand that that's what people are thinking about. And I wanted to, I don't know your business, but I can only make suggestions. And I do feel that every menu, whether it's low priced or premium priced, it's important to let people know this is the luxury, this is the special thing that you're offering this month, this week, this day, you know, like this is something special. Because I think that some people don't even have the bandwidth to figure out at this point what is special. And if you could point them to it, it could be great, especially if they know why it's special, why it's got this pedigree, and why possibly it's good for them. Remember, Special experiences can happen 365 and a quarter days a year. What is it, 24 hours a day? So, you know, offer these really great opportunities to them, and they will appreciate that. Next. And, you know, one of the things I'm really so grateful for is that there really has been a move to democratize luxury and health. And a lot of really great food can be found inexpensively. And of course, if you know, you get what you pay for, and sometimes it's worth it to pay the premium price. So, but great food is available at all prices. Great food, not only that, it's not saying that delicious and healthy are not connected, but food that focuses on its health, and food that focuses on the experience. And together, this is luxury, and we have to make people feel that everything they eat is something that's adding to them, that is not only about nurturing their physical body, but about nurturing their mind and treating themselves well, which has ramifications for all over your body. And there's been so much research on that. Next. You know, what we need to do is we need to inspire people. And wow, what can be more inspiring than delicious food and delicious beverages? You know, you have such a great opportunity. You know, this has been an absolutely, COVID is a terrible phenomenon, but we have to find opportunities and good in it. And maybe this will give you some time, although I think many people in your industry are working overtime plus, to come up with new ideas to inspire your consumer to enjoy more and get more and ultimately buy more of your food. So seek the opportunities to get more embedded in people's everyday and in their minds as something that they want because it's extra special. Next. So what do you need to do to understand this wealthy consumer? And you know, one thing I could tell you is they are very, very informed. They are reading a lot, and they value when you are able to teach them something about what it is that you're doing that will make them feel smarter. In fact, I work for a PR firm, and one of the things that we always try and do is create things that, you know, copy points that you, as whether you're a manufacturer or a chef or own a restaurant or working in a restaurant, to give them as a script to make them feel smart. They wear that knowledge. It's a badge of honor. They're so proud to know more. It makes them feel good about that they're giving new information, that they can look really smart and sophisticated to their friends. So they look for opportunities where they could talk about authenticity. They look for opportunities and products that will make them feel more tasteful and more stylish. Next. So your brand isn't exactly what you tell people it is, it's what other people are telling each other. And that's why it is so important to have other people advocating for you in a wide range of different ways, and let your customers and potential customers know that this is in fact happening. And you love what it is that you do. So, you know, if you told me, I would believe you, but many people are very skeptical when people are talking about their own products. And I think that this skepticism and this mistrust may actually grow with time. So that what they say are brand advocates are 70% more likely. And when we talk about brand advocates, they're anyone who's willing to talk about you. So, you know, I see that there's really 4 tiers of influencers in the world today. The first tier of influencer is celebrities. And whether you like celebrities, whether you don't like celebrities, I can assure you that when celebrities talk about your brand, you'll get a lot more reach than anything. You know, celebrities are very important to people, and everybody wants to write about them and cover them. The second tier of influencer are experts, chefs, food critics, nutritionists, dietitians, you know, people who are seen as having great style. Experts are really important. The third tier of influencer are people with large followings, and that's journalists, that's people who write for magazines, newspapers, on-air TV personalities, radio personalities, people who have their own podcasts, bloggers, Instagrammers. People who have a large following are really important. And when articles come out about you, when podcasts come out about you, make sure that it's, you know, that you're getting it out there and using social media to do that. And if it's national publicity, you could use it to get more local publicity. And if it's local publicity, you could use it to get more national publicity. And it's really important to get the conversation going. The more that you could get people involved, the better. Next. And the more that you could put this on your website and hang reprints of articles in your establishment, make sure if personalities are talking about it, you could even include that in your signature. We have a client that does that. It really works great. And what's going on today is that people are listening to a lot of different people. They're listening to who? Their trainer is very, you know, think about your own personality. If your trainer said something, if your hairstylist says something, if you're a nutritionist or you're a naturopath or your meditation coach or your finance, everybody is an expert on everything. And, you know, I think that we all know, judging from the areas that we're experts, other people can say things and about things that we know about, and we're like, wow, like, they're so wrong, but they say it with such conviction that people don't know any better, you know, don't know how to discern it. So you have to remember that people are getting their information from lots of different experts, but you have to do your part to get the word out there in any way that you can, whether it's doing social media, whether it is getting publicity. And if you have restaurants, I can assure you, wherever you are, people want to hear from you, journalists want to hear from you and want to know ways to help you, because we know that this is not an easy time for you, and people are pulling for you, but you know, they may not understand your business as well as you can, and we want to help any way we can. Next. And so people would be more willing to talk about good experiences they had if you had ways to utilize that. And there are many ways to do that, and we could talk about that in a bit. So really, how long are your tentacles? You know, how long are they? Do you have ambassadors? And ambassadors could be, of course, they could be celebrities, of course, they could be experts, of course, they could be media, but ambassadors can also be people who had wonderful experiences in your place, and they're just looking for opportunities to tell more people. Does your restaurant have an advisory board? Now, you may say, what the heck do I need an advisory board? You need an advisory board to help. They may give useful suggestions, I'm sure they will, and they'll also do their bit to make sure you're getting the word out, and there's lots of different ways to work on that. And make sure that, again, whether your establishment is focused on French food or Italian food or local cuisine or natural cuisine or specifically for kids or just for breakfast and lunch, find people who are experts who can help you say why this is good, why this makes you feel better and stuff like that. Because if you do, you could get media publicity. If you do, you could get you could be using them in blogs, and you helping them expand their platform will help you expand yours. Next. So, you know, how to tell if you're really connected, and if you're only seeing the same customers coming to you over and over and over again. It's wonderful to have an ongoing source of business and have good customers that you can always count on. That's the best possible scenario. But you also want to make sure that they're suggesting that other people come to your place. And this is a great time to do that because people absolutely want to help people in the restaurant business. And people need fun things to talk about. And what could be more fun to talk about than a restaurant or some other food service opportunity? And you need to see, are you getting referrals? And if you're not getting referrals, why? And what are you doing to get referrals? And we can help you with that. Are you being followed on social? You know, that's an opportunity. That's a new skill that maybe they didn't teach you when you got started, but is now really important. And if you can't do it, there's lots of ways for you to get that. And are you being quoted in the media? You know, you're an expert. You're running a facility. You know about a certain kind of cuisine. You know about how to keep a business going. You're spotting trends. You're seeing what people are asking you for. You're seeing what kind of people are coming in. These are opportunities. And if you see a trend going on, it really, I can assure you, journalists will be so happy to hear from you because their job is to be reporting on news, and everybody's trying to be on top of it and report on it first. Next. So where does the wealthy consumer, your consumer, get their information? They get it from everywhere, because if you notice, whether you're reading a business publication or a celebrity publication or a blog or whatever it is, it's always talking about food, it's always talking about experience, and they're always talking about health. There are so many ways to get media coverage. Next, and be in the news. And anything that you could do to get in the news is going to help you get more customers. So let's start thinking about what you could do, how to develop a nose for wellness news. First start out, what does your product, what does your restaurant do to help people be healthier? Is there a lot of tomato sauce, which is really great because it has lycopene and it's good for your eyes? Does it have, what is in your food that's making it healthy, and what's the new research on that? What's the new research on trends? Give people information and see what you're finding, see what people are asking. Is your gluten-free menu getting more interest than ever before, or are you finding out more paleo or more keto? What are the trends you're finding? Are more people bringing in vitamins and supplements to take with their meal? Maybe this is an opportunity for you to be selling vitamins and supplements. Are people asking about is there probiotics? Does this yogurt thing have probiotics, or what vitamins does it have? And so there's a lot of opportunities for you to create stories based on whatever it is you're doing. Next. And the media will really appreciate these observations you have. But if you could actually be able to say, we had, this many requests for this, or this many questions about this, or we noticed this many people, we took a random sample and we found this many people were taking vitamins, or this many people were in a party of 5 or more, or less than 2, whatever trend it is you're spotting, that gives the journalists numbers and statistics, which will give their story a lot more credibility. Next. So, at the end of the day, expertise is really good. There is no doubt about it. If you could speak to people in a way that they understand it and appreciate it, that is fantastic. But expertise is good, but knowing how to deal with the media is even better, because you can be the best chef in the world and nobody would ever know about you. You can have the best, I don't know, I'm on a thing with tomatoes today. You may have the best tomato sauce or whole tomatoes, and you know, people don't know about you, but the person who uses their expertise to then become media savvy is the one that is going to win. And what journalists want are something that people call a media darling. And that's someone who people like to listen to because they're funny and entertaining and they have a light demeanor. But journalists like working with them because they also have information and the materials that they need and the attitude they need, like to be on time for interviews is just so important. It's someone that consumers love watching or love hearing about or enjoy their entertaining and informative quotes, and media likes because they give them what they need. Next. And media training is a great way to become media savvy. And there's all different ways that you could do that. And not the least valuable by any means is by looking it up. And to be successful with media, you need to be able to deliver information in a way that a journalist wants to, that's entertaining. Because at the end of the day, media's #1 goal is they want to be entertaining. News is second. However you can link into what you're saying into the news is always important, and then giving them numbers and statistics is important. Aspirational PR is, you know, if in your restaurant you're using any products, most of the products you are using will probably have a publicity program, and you could say to them, I'm willing to work with you. All of the national brands have some kind of marketing program, and you should tell them, I want to work with you. You could use me. I'm using your product. You could use my expertise. And I could tell you that we get our clients national publicity all the time, and it's so important for branding, but nothing makes the cash register ring like local media. Being in your local newspaper, being on your local TV shows, it makes all the difference in the world. Next. We have clients that we've worked with for many, many years, and they don't even care so much about the national publicity that we get, because they've already gotten a ton of it, but they love it when they get local publicity because it actually means sales. And I want to say that your marketing effort, what we're talking about right now, needs to contribute to sales, because we know that's the most important thing right now to keeping your business going. And we have to be creative, and not only creative, we have to do things that work. And what will work is giving your consumers what they want and letting them know you're doing it. So I've put up here a number of upcoming food shows that I think are really important, and I want to give you guys a second to look at them. And then I'm open to some more questions.
Great, thank you so much, Nancy. That was such wonderful information. I truly appreciate it. I know I'm learning a lot, and we definitely have some questions that are rolling in. So if you just want to go to the next slide very quickly, we just wanted to make sure that we share this with everyone and that you're aware that we have put up our industry resource page. It's foodandbevshows.com, where you can go here and look at a list of our webinars that are upcoming. Everything is coming in by the week, so more will be added. And I also want to remind everyone that this webinar today will also be made available on the website, and we will be sending out a follow-up thank you email with a link to the recording. So you can go back at any point and listen to Nancy's great tips, and go over anything that you wanted to revisit. So let's go right to the questions, because we've got some things coming in.
Patricia,
yes.
I wanted to say thank you for this great opportunity. And also, if people ever have questions, we are really here and really supportive of you. So they'll be able to reach us with questions, because I know sometimes after you hear something, you get the creative idea just a few minutes after the webinar ended. So we're here for you.
Absolutely. No, well, thank you so much for that, Nancy. Our first question here is coming in about the celebrity endorsement. Is it expensive to work with a celebrity to endorse your restaurant, and how do they go about making that connection?
Great question. And, you know, every single one of our clients has celebrity endorsements, and we don't believe in paying them. We don't pay for any of them because we only work for great companies. And yes, celebrity endorsements are, you know, nobody is going to do a favor for you. No one's going to say, oh, you know, like, I think I'm going to, you know, don't even go for that. Think about what it is that you've got and why it is beneficial for the celebrity to be endorsing you. So is your celebrity I don't know what the mechanism is that you could tell us, but you could come back with the question. Does the celebrity that you're thinking of, are they from where you are? Do they live where you are? Did they say something in a movie that makes you think that they would like your eggplant parmesan more than somebody else's? Is there a name? Is there, you know, what is it that you've got that makes sense, and there is something for that celebrity to gain to be in cahoots with you? There are many ways to do it, and you know, I believe like everybody, celebrities are open to helping people, especially you, especially in these times. And if you can come up with a reason for why they should be promoting you, that's great. And it could be healthy food, it could be indulgent food, whatever it is, you know, there as my grandma used to say, there's a cover for every pot. And fortunately, there's a lot more covers than you might think. And I'm sure whatever you're doing is something that people would want to be associated with and affiliated with.
I love that. Thanks so much. I think I may steal that from your grandmother. The next question here is implementing a PR campaign something we should start now during the shutdown when we only have takeout options, or is it something we would do when we are able to reopen?
I didn't hear the beginning of the question.
Oh, sorry, I will repeat. Is implementing a PR campaign something we should start now during the shutdown when we only have takeout options, or is this something we should do when we are able to reopen?
Absolutely. If you have the bandwidth to start it now, I would say absolutely start it now. Do you notice how much more media you are watching now? I mean, we're glued to the TV, we're glued to the internet, we're glued to the radio. You know, like we're real information junkies, and we could take the bad news and then they balance it with some fun news. And frankly, you are fun news. You know, anything food related is fun news. And I would say if you could get it going now, you know, another one my grandmother said, why do tomorrow what you could do today? Do it now. Hopefully you have a little time. Hopefully it'll add a little levity to your job, and absolutely get started now. Media wants to hear what local businesses are doing, and interest in food is at an all-time high.
Great, thank you so much. Next question. We don't offer a lot of healthy options now. What are some of the best foods to start with for takeout service?
You know, you don't have to, healthy food isn't the only kind of food that succeeds in today's world. You know, I live in California, and I cannot tell you how many people come to California and they want to go to Pink's Hot Dogs, you know. You know, it's like different, and what's healthy for one person is different for another person. So I would think to myself, okay, I know people are interested in health. What is it that I have? What ingredients am I using that's healthy? What spin can I give to it? You know, whatever it is you're using is high protein, you know, maybe low fat, you know, has certain vitamins, has certain antioxidants. Be creative, and if you need help coming up with those ideas, I'm more than willing to. But you know, there's there's health to everyone, you know, but I do think that today's consumer is really, really going to be concerned about health, because we know that unhealth is contributing to the death rate, right? So we have to get ourselves more healthy.
Right, and this actually piggybacks a bit off of that. They're looking for any particular suggestions around beverages.
Yeah, you know, to be very honest with you, right before this presentation, I had a chai, a chai tea. You've got, you know, people want comfort, so they want tea drinks, they want coffee drinks, they want things that are healthy, but they want things that are luxurious. I keep reading about how people are whipping their coffee drinks at home. You know, tips on how to, you know. On the other hand, juices are going to be wonderful. You know, it's been so long since I've had a real juice. Well, you know what? That's not true, because I do make orange juice. You know, juices are going to be really good because they're really healthy and they're really delicious. Think of, you know, think of what the beverages are that you have that you can make, and how there is a great component to them. You know, how there is a healthy component. Patricia, do you think I answered that? You know, like it's whatever you've got, and then you have to think about why people would want that.
Yeah, I agree. I've been seeing the same things as you just said. I know some friends have been getting some coffee. I actually have been wanting to know the name of it because they've been posting about it. So I need to find that out. And I also think that's a great way to, you know, to have people, it's always word of mouth, right? And by the pictures that people are posting. So I think if you have a specialty beverage, I've seen some restaurants too who are doing pickup, you know, orders where they're putting together almost like a margarita mix. There's a Mexican restaurant that I used to go to frequently, and they're offering that for pickup. So like you said, I think it's the more creative and whatever it is that your restaurant is maybe known for or featured, I think that's the way you go.
I really, you know, that is a good idea. So for everybody, I'm drinking Blue Lotus chai, which is really good, and I'm drinking it because it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel comforted, and it makes me feel like I'm taking in something healthy. I also had a glass of water with antioxidants in it called Ultima, which is really, really great. And I do think adding things that you may have had on your menu, like coffee or tea, adding something like chai is a really good idea. We know that everybody is always asking for drinks of water. Maybe having supplements that you could charge for, that would be a way for you to make more money and make people healthier and give them a healthier option, may be a good idea. And I was talking to a local restaurant owner here, and you know, she doesn't make money on the food that you know, she's being asked to deliver food all around, and she doesn't make money on the food. She makes money on the alcohol, and she can't deliver the alcohol. So what I like is then say to people, you know, if you order dinner, we'll come up with something less pricey to give as a gift to someone from you. So you order the dinner, but you could have like a special, you're a good neighbor, or you're a good teacher package, or you're my, you know, I love working out with you, workout friend, get something, you know, that people can deliver, and it's a way of promoting the business. Just a thought.
I love that. I wouldn't mind getting one. Nancy, before we go on to the next couple of questions, I didn't know, do you have a contact slide at all? So is there a,
yes,
for your information?
Yes, I think that I think that we do. And so
perfect. I just want to leave this up while we answer the next questions, because some people are looking on, you know, for your contact info, and also wondering, do you work with restaurants all over the country?
Absolutely. We have offices in New York and LA and other satellite offices around the country. And I certainly can answer everybody's questions now, you know, whenever they want to email us or when they want to call us.
Wonderful, thank you. So the next question, we don't really have a budget for this. Is there something we can do ourselves, and how do we find out the appropriate media outlets?
If you don't have a budget for it, it's fine. But I can tell you that that's a mistake. So next time around, try and come up with a budget for it. But that doesn't mean that you can't start right now. And if you're a local restaurant, I would look at your local newspaper and see where other restaurants were reviewed, where other chefs are asked for their expertise on cooking, where other people who own restaurants are talking about how they're running in this time, or just how they're trying to accommodate the community at this time. You have a lot of story angles. So you have the how to make your food, how to run your restaurant, how to deal with this time, and different, you know, depending on what kind of cuisine, you know, we're coming up. We just finished Easter. I guess we're coming up to more summer vegetables and how to cook different things for this type of weather, how to cook comforting foods. Whatever it is your expertise, you contact the journalists and say, look, I'd love to talk to you in these. I have time for you in these times. And so
Great.
look at the local media you have, and then and see if you could figure out names. If you can't find out names, call the local newspaper and ask who is the food editor or who is covering you know, community news, and you will get help. And by the way, another thing that really helps in this time is photographs, because for obvious reasons, nobody wants to send out photographers, and all the journalists we're working with are asking us to send photographs.
Thank you, Nancy. The next question is around recipes. We have the kids home. What are the best healthy snacks and desserts to make? And are there online tools for good recipes?
Oh, there's a ton of great online resources for great recipes. It depends on, do you want snacks that are already prepared, but it says that you're wanting recipes. What are the health issues with your children? Are we do they need to have more veggies? Do they need to have more vitamins? Is it more calcium or protein that we're trying to get in them? And then when you realize what nutritional needs you want to help boost, then you come up with recipes for that. And of course, in this state, you know, one of the things my sister and I were talking about, you know, now when you go shopping, it really isn't what do I want? It's what is there, you know? And, you know, I told you about my thing with cabbage. Had there been, you know, had the lettuces been there, I probably wouldn't have been thinking about cabbage. So, you know, sometimes being respectful, you get interesting ingredients. So maybe when you're shopping, look at what ingredients you have and work backwards.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think if you look at the websites of the different foods that are available, you'll be able to find things. And there's certainly for every health issue, you could find that too. The internet is a wonderful thing. You know, but also remember, not all information is created equally, and you should vet the information. And since you're probably a food service professional, look at the recipes, and if they don't make sense, they may not be as quality as you would like them to be.
That's a good point. We have two more questions, so I'll ask those, and then I think unless anything else comes in, I think that will be a wrap. Our first question is back to branding. How can I turn my brand into what's trending?
You have to get people to be talking about it. You know, you have to get people to be talking about it. So, you know, we were talking about influencers. So, Getting celebrities to talk about it would be great. Getting local celebrities to talk about it would be great. Depending on what the product is, that's how you get the conversation going. Not what you say about your brand, it's what other people are saying about the brand. And when you know what the other people are saying about your brand, make sure that that consumers and potential consumers are finding out about it. But if it's recipe, if it's flavor driven, if it's nutrition driven, if it's trend driven, if it's price driven, depending on what it is, that's how you figure out the right experts to be seeking.
Great. And our last question here, how do you distinguish a wealthy consumer from all others?
Well, a wealthy consumer is, is anyone today, and it's somebody who has more than one interest. They're taking care of their children, or maybe they're not there yet. They're yogis, they're foodies, they're vegans today, but oh, you know what? My friend just made this really, my favorite roast beef dish. Or so, people are doing lots of, they're gardeners, they're executives, they're parents, they're, I'm lucky enough to have my mom, I'm lucky enough to have a son, I'm lucky, I'm different things to different people, and that's what a wealthy person is today. A wealthy person is drawing from lots of different sources to be the individual they are. And the great opportunity for marketers is there's a lot of angles to go after. The confusing thing for marketers is everyone is what they are at that particular moment. So when I'm talking to my mom, I'm not thinking about a romantic dinner with my partner. It's like, that's not what, So there's lots of opportunity for marketers, but they have to be very specific in their communications. Did I answer that, Patricia?
Yes, you did. And actually, we had another question come in, if that's okay, if we ask this. This is a good one. What kind of advice do you have for non-restaurant chefs looking to start up a new biz, but have to rethink it now because of the current situation?
This is a great time. This is a great time to be thinking, because you have a minute and you're seeing the churn of society and you're seeing the churn of trends, and hopefully you can come up with it. People have a lot of different priorities and interests in things right now, and what isn't. But what I can assure you is COVID is going to impact people, and they are going to be very concerned with health now, and they are going to be concerned with luxury, and they are going to want really great experiences, and much of life it's not going to return to what we knew anytime soon. Right before this conversation, we were talking about, when will the 6 feet around us, not be an issue, and will the regulations ease before our comfort? This is a great time to be thinking about new options, and many people have a little bit more time to do it. And it's much better to be doing this now and be ready for when people come out of this than have made decisions before this whole thing started, and you're going to have to reinvent. So this is a wonderful time to be thinking about it, and a wonderful time to be looking into trends and maybe even watching what's going on. If you have an idea, you're a chef, you have an idea of the kind of food that you like to make, it may make very good sense to watch what's going on in takeout places that have that kind of food. Or is there an aspirational brand you have? You may want to, stick around and take out, and see what people are doing, or speak to people there. And I think that people are more willing to talk and share information now, especially before things, get up to speed again. And you're going to have to be thinking, you're going to have to be competing with that, with their regular business. I hope that helped.
Great, thank you, Nancy. And think we do have 5 more minutes left, and we actually just got another question. So as long as you're okay, I'll ask this one.
Sure.
What about marketing cancer-related good foods? How is that market trend?
Oh, what a wonderful thing that you're doing. What a wonderful thing you're doing. And thank you for doing that. A lot of people may not realize that certain foods are more conducive and more helpful to people who have cancer. I can't imagine that having this service would not be of interest to local media. I can't imagine would not be of interest to newsletters on cancer. And I'm sure you have a very good story on how you came up with the idea. So if the question is how to get better known for this, I would be using local media, national media, and social media, and follow physicians and other businesses that cater to people with this issue and that are read by people who may have parents or other relatives as well, because a lot of times these decisions may not be made by the people who are sick. They're being made by caregivers, which is a whole other category of newsletters and media that you may be interested in connecting with. But what you're doing is unique and different, and people want to hear about it, and journalists would, I'm sure, want to support your efforts on this, especially at this time, because these people are especially compromised.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nancy. Again, that was just wonderful, wonderful presentation, such great info. I just want to remind everyone again before we go, this will be made available on the website, and also you should be receiving this by email as well. Did you have any last words, Nancy?
Well, I would say to people that this is a difficult time, but try and find the silver lining. Try and find the silver lining. Perhaps you're having an opportunity to rethink your business and what does work and what doesn't work and what you want to do, and how you can make that happen, and understand what your passions are and what the passions are of your customers, so you can connect the two. This is giving us a lot of good time to think, and a lot of good time for us to exercise our ability to spot trends and create options that consumers will be interested in, which will ultimately sell better. And Patricia, I was also thinking that we have another presentation coming up together.
Yes, we do. I'm so sorry. That is actually next week on the 21st. If everyone would like to join us from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Nancy will be discussing influencing influencers who are sheltered at home at this time.
Yeah, which we got a lot of questions about that, and I think that will be very useful for people, and
Absolutely.
And I'm really excited about that, because it seems to be the #1 question that everybody wants to know today is how do I get more influencers talking about me, specifically celebrities of one sort or of another. And my true belief is that like we said, there's a cover to every pot, and there are, celebrities depend on people like us, that's you and me, to get their name out there and become even bigger celebrities. So you are really helping people by identifying the right person.
Well, again, thank you so much, and we hope to see everyone next Tuesday. And have a great rest of the afternoon. Thanks again, Nancy. Until next time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Patricia. I really enjoyed this so much, and I'm looking forward to hearing from people. Take care. Thank you.